Hey everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Alerts. Let's start with the fact that Islam Makhachev wants Conor McGregor to fight next. Before his UFC 302 fight with Dustin Poirier, Islam Makhachev told the champion that he would be open to a match with Conor McGregor. However, McGregor would have to beat Michael Chandler first later this month. If everything works out, Makhachev is likely to agree to the fight. During an interview with Usta Taika in Russian, Makhachev said that he would rather fight Conor McGregor than Arman Tsarukyan. He does not think that McGregor will return to the octagon anytime soon, though. That being said, the McGregor fight looks more interesting to me in every way. I don't think he'll ever show up for his next fight, though. That video has been seen by everyone. Also, the press meeting was called off, so I don't think he'll be able to make it to the fight. I think Chandler will win. Even if he does, his mind is clearer, he's worked out hard, and he looks more hungry. The champion said that he still plans to fight again by the end of the year to protect his title, even though Makhachev just got into a fight with Dustin Poirier. It looks like a fight between him and Arman Tsarukyan will happen because of how the division is right now. So far, though, Dana White hasn't said anything about when the fight might happen. Next, let's look at MMA Community says Dana White is wrong again. Dana White has been promoting his very controversial Power Slap League again lately. During an interview on comedian Andrew Schultz's Flagrant podcast, White lied about the number of people who follow the promotion on social media. While giving numbers about how well Power Slap is doing on social media, White said that the campaign has more followers than all of the major sports teams put together. White said that Power Slap has more fans than the famous football team Real Madrid, even though he didn't have the numbers at the time. This thing completely rules. There are more people who follow us than follow any major sport. For every major sports team, we have more fans than they do. In 15 months, more than just like Real Madrid or these sports teams. I'm not sure about the sports teams, but I think so. We have more fans of every sports team than they do. That's why I would say yes, that the people in MMA were quick to check White's claim. Teams in the NBA have 24.6 million fans, while the Kansas City Chiefs have 4.2 million. Power Slap has 3.9 million followers on Instagram. There are an amazing 162 million people who follow Real Madrid. Someone wrote, does he think we're stupid? Someone else said, the person who gives Dana these numbers should get a raise. One fan pointed out that Power Slap doesn't have enough followers on all of their platforms to close the gap with Real Madrid. They wrote that Power Slap doesn't even have 5 million followers across X, Instagram, and Rumble. Real Madrid has 162 million followers on Instagram alone. Dana White thinks that talking things into reality will keep people from seeing that Power Slap is quickly going away. According to another MMA fan, a lot of the people who tuned in at first because they were interested have stopped listening for a while now. It hurts his pride to accept it. One fan with 51,000 followers made a joke, I have more followers than Power Slap, someone else wrote. I've actually never met anyone that watches that crap, which made me doubt the Power Slap numbers. Still a diehard UFC fan. One MMA fan did more research and found that the NBA G League, the WNBA, NBA, and Fenerbahce FC all have more followers than Power Slap. They wrote it's actually harder to find a pro sports team / league with less followers, LMAO. Someone else in the MMA community made a joke about how strange it is that Uncle Dana is still telling this story. I have to give it to my guy. He's the only one who is ready to die on the hill. As we've seen in the past, though, White will probably keep lying about the numbers around Power Slap, even if people in the community check him out. It looks like Dana White replied to the criticism, but Joe Pompliano tweeted that Real Madrid has 162 million Instagram fans, while Power Slap only has 4 million. Dana replied, I meant to say views. Yes, that went up. When asked, Joe said, okay, thanks for clarifying. It was Dana White who replied, good call out now. Let's look at the question. Islam Makhachev is better than Khabib. Because Islam Makhachev and Khabib Nurmagomedov are linked, it's no surprise that the two have been compared to each other over and over again. MMA fans quickly made connections between Makhachev's performance against Poirier UFC 302 and the Eagles' performance against Poirier UFC 242. This was after Makhachev's latest win over Poirier. Daniel Cormier used to say that Makhachev is more dangerous than Nurmagomedov because of his hitting skills, but now he thinks that Khabib Nurmagomedov is the best fighter of all time. In a recent episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy, Chael Sonnen asked Cormier to talk about the Makhachev-Nurmagomedov comparison again, since Makhachev seems to be getting better all the time. When I look at this comparison, I think it's crazy that this guy has won 8 title fights, is 2-8-1 in the UFC, and has finished 17 fights. I don't think that's possible, but he did beat Conor. He beat Gaethje, Conor, and Dustin. He did defend himself 3 times, so I don't think it's fair to compare them, especially since they both fought Khabib Nurmagomedov, because I agree with Chael that Dustin Poirier was better because he got to fight Nurmagomedov. When they fought, he could feel how strong they were, and he had a sense of what he would be up against in the cage. I was one of the first people to say that I believe Islam Makhachev is more dangerous than Khabib because of how hard he hits. But now that I think about it, as a guy who's been with both of them, I don't think we'll ever see someone as strong as Khabib. Because Chael, when was the last time you watched a fight? That being said, I'm not saying that Islam lost on Saturday. But there were times when it looked like a race. How often did you see Khabib Nurmagomedov not look like he was in charge? I believe you make the difference there. Cormier also said that Nurmagomedov was very strong because virtually no one could stop him when he used his wrestling skills, even though his opponents knew he was going to do so. Next, let's look at Jared Cannonier, who is very angry with the MMA community. Before this weekend's UFC Fight Night Louisville show, the main event, Jared Cannonier said that the MMA community wasn't giving him enough credit for beating Sean Strickland in 2022. In an interview with MMA Junkie, Cannonier talked about the fight between the two and praised Strickland for getting better after it. Aside from that, he criticized the MMA community for not giving him enough credit for the win. He's changed a lot since we fought. He changed the way he thought when he fought me. He promised himself that he would never fight like that again after the fight with me. He has been held to that. That's great, and I admire him for it. Sean Strickland went back to being himself after making the changes. He walked forward and did his thing. I'm not sure if Pajeda or I made him, because he was going forward when he fought Pajeda. He walked forward and marched him down. We saw how that took place. He didn't do that when he fought me, though. That's something that people should remember. A lot of people keep telling me he barely won that fight, but he didn't fight me the way he fights. Do you get what I mean? That's something that people should remember. He didn't fight me like he does these other guys. Strickland has made it clear that he will only agree to fight for the title after his recent win over Paulo Costa. However, Cannonier is about to get another title shot, so the stars could align for a repeat between these two in the future if one of them wins the title. Next, let us look at Alexander Volkanovski reveals UFC plan. Alexander Volkanovski told reporters after his loss to Ilia Topuria earlier this year that he was going to take some time off to heal before going back to the cage after 2 straight knockouts. Volkanovski recently called for a fight with Dustin Poirier after the Diamonds lost to Islam Makhachev in UFC 302. It's not clear who he will fight when he comes back, though. In a recent interview with ESPN, Volkanovski talked about the call-out. He made it clear that his next fight at 145 pounds will be for the title, but he also wants to stay busy, so fights with Poirier, Conor McGregor, and Michael Chandler are all on his mind. I made it pretty clear that my next featherweight fight will be for the title. I just wanted to wait, so I don't know what my exact plans are because I haven't been bugging the UFC and have just been taking it easy. I'm not sure if they have plans. It's a given that my next fight will be for the title, but what if something comes up before then? Does that mean I'm waiting too long? That's when I thought, well, if that's the case, we don't know if that's the case, then a fight between that and Dustin Poirier might be great. He seems like a good guy, and I respect him a lot. It was a really fun fight with a big name. I just thought you're going to put a few of those out, so you never know, I'll put out a few more of those. Conor McGregor, Chandler, or anything else. The featherweight class looks good, but my next fight is for the belt at featherweight. In an interview with the media, Volkanovski also said that he has no plans to fight on the UFC 305 show in Perth later this summer. However, he does plan to come back later this year in October or November. That's what I said. You know, I don't think I want to be in, I told myself, okay, October after October, around that time, so November, the end of the year, sounds great. We won't say anything for sure, but we'll see. Yes, without a doubt. Since his last fight was in February, a return in October or November would give Volkanovski almost a whole year to get better.